Welcome to Tales of Blue, where I'm delighted to be joined by the man in the middle who has simply seen it all. A man who is responsible for overseeing one of City's most iconic fixtures from the past 25 years. A warm welcome to the 1999 Division 2 Wembley Play-Off final referee, Mark Halsey. How are you doing, Mark?
Very well, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, very good. Thanks, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, well, you're welcome. You're welcome. I've got to make an apology. So those that can see the pictures on the wall, they're not mine. I'm in my daughter's bedroom. It's quite up here, and I'll get a better Wi-Fi.
Right. So that's not the standard referee's bedroom.
No, it's definitely not. No, I've come upstairs out the way.
So, how did Mark Halsey get into refereeing? As I believe you were once a budding goalkeeper, Mark, who was on the book of Tottenham Hotspur at one stage.
Oh, I was, yeah. Obviously, fell by the wayside as youngsters do. They find other things to do instead of concentrating on football. Sort of played a lot of non-league football and then sort of stumbled into refereeing. Really, I've got a good friend of mine who kept on at me. I love me cricket as well, so
yeah,
his house backed onto our cricket square, and he kept on at me all the time. So I used to play for him as well on a Sunday morning, because back in the day, Sunday morning football was good standard.
Yeah, sure.
And yeah, he just kept on at me, why don't you come and be a referee? And I said, absolutely no chance. Because obviously he was a right dirty bugger when he played. He played centre half, and he used to kick players, elbow players behind the referee's back, and then he'd become a referee. It was unbelievable. So it was on at me all summer long. I think it was around about 1988, the summer of 1988, and I just said, no, Russ, there's absolutely no chance of me becoming a referee. And I was at that stage, I was falling out of love with it a little bit, and at the end of the summer, I said, he kept on at me, and I said, okay then, listen, I'm not doing the course. I'm not spending 8 weeks doing the course and exam. I'll read the laws of the game, do the exam. If I can do that, then I'll have a go. Yeah. Got permission, read the laws of the game, passed the exam, and never looked back, really.
Never looked back.
But while I was refereeing Sundays, I was still playing Saturdays, and midweek for my local team. So, but then as I was, sort of climbing the ladder, I had to make the decision, and then I gave up playing altogether and concentrated on refereeing with the Running Hatfield and the Hearts County League.
Well, it was obviously paid off because of the fantastic career you had in the game, for sure.
Yeah.
How and when does a referee find out that he's allocated a game? And what were your first thoughts on learning you've been in charge of the 99 Division 2 playoff final?
Now, obviously you find out on a Monday by email what game you're refereeing for the weekend. Back then it was a phone call from the Football League telling me that I've been selected to referee the playoff final. Obviously, Gillingham, I refereed the semi-final. Well, I refereed the Gillingham-Preston semi-final.
Okay.
At Gillingham, which obviously Gillingham won. And then obviously I got the phone call to say I was refereeing the playoff final at Wembley, which was fantastic, because like every player wants to play at Wembley.
Sure.
And the referee wants to referee at Wembley, and I was lucky enough to referee at the old Wembley and the new Wembley. So it was a fantastic achievement. I'd only been refereeing on the Football League. That's my third season as a referee on the Football League. So and obviously that end of that season, I was promoted to the Premier League. So it was great. I also opened the Etihad, the first game there against Barcelona. I was the referee of that one as well, so it was nice. I was invited by Bernard Halford, who was such a great man.
Yes, yeah, rest in peace, Bernard. Now, I believe your last professional game was at Vol City as well, Mark, didn't it?
Again, yeah, it was, yeah.
Norwich, I believe, May 2013.
13, that's right, correct, yeah. That was my last official, but then I was asked to do Stephen Gerrard's testimonial at Anfield in August by Stephen himself. So that was technically my last game at the highest level. But my last official league game was at the Etihad. It was no better place to finish.
Yeah.
Just shame I couldn't play a bit more stoppage time to get the.
Yeah, we lost 3-2, I believe.
3-2, that's right. Yeah.
But once you find out you've been allocated a game like that, do you have a routine you did sort of thing? Did you check up on the teams who might be playing, or what kind of thing did you go through as the referee?
Listen, I was one of those that just refereed in front of me. You go out there, you're aware of perhaps one or two players. Even refereeing in the Premier League, you're aware of one or two players. You think, keep your eye on them, have a word with them, keep talking to them, keep them out of trouble, and it was no different. But you just go out and referee what's in front of you. You referee with a smile on your face, and that's how you get the respect from the players. You actually the decision making, and the way you speak to the players, and you're picking up little things, and you're aware of what's going on around you. So yeah, it was a great day because all the finals are, at Wembley that weekend, or they were then as they are now, but they were at Wembley that weekend, and all the, for every game, the referees, the officials were all at the same hotel. We were all staying at the Hilton Hotel at Wembley. Not so sure that was the ideal place to be, but we were all there, so it was. I was really looking forward to the game. Really nervous, obviously. I'm really looking forward to refereeing at Wembley, and I remember walking up that tunnel just before kick-off to the full house. It was, made the hair on the back of your head just stand up, and you just couldn't wait to get going and blow that first whistle so you could get into the game, so all those nerves could settle down.
Yeah. What were your initial thoughts, Mark? Who did you think would win the fixture? I know you're allocated, you're the referee, but you must look at it and think, well, maybe City will win this day, or it could be Gillingham's. Did you have any thoughts on the game?
No. I just, you just wish that, it's a good game of football. It's not a problem for me. There's no problems. You come out unscathed, and you just hope that the best team wins. But what a game it turned out to be, isn't it? And City fans have got a lot to thank me for putting City back on the map, isn't it? Because without that game, you wouldn't be there now, would you?
We'll certainly come on to that anyway. Did you have any experiences with refereeing City before that you remember?
No, I think that may have been my first. I think that may have been my first time refereeing City. I think, if my memory serves me correctly, I'm pretty sure. Obviously, become friends with Joe Rule after that, and Gary O is a massive friend of mine. We speak with Gary all the time. Great player he was.
Well, the Christmas card list went up, didn't it?
Oh yeah, we always go out. He's near me in Spain, so we always go out for dinner and have a few glasses of vino. And
great guy, Gary. Great to listen to as well. We've had him on.
Yeah, play a bit of golf. Yeah, he's great lad, Gaz. Great lad.
So the match day arrives Sunday, the 30th of May, 1999, 3:00 kickoff. What would have been your traditional day routine? What time would you get to the stadium, and did you travel over? Did you stay over the night before the game?
Yeah,
you mentioned the refs were there the weekend.
I think, believe it or not, I think we walked. We walked from the hotel to the stadium.
Quite close to Hilton, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we walked. And I mean, the old Wembley Stadium, the referee's dressing room, you couldn't swing a cat in. There was 4 of us in there, and the masseur, it was so tight. But I always like to get there about quarter past 1. Same routine, the way I take my clothes off, the way I put my kit back on, and everything. So
what you're saying, you referees are just as normal as everybody else then?
Normal as everybody else, yeah. A little bit of music in the dressing room, as I always had. So listen, it was nervous, but couldn't wait to get out there and blow that whistle and get the game going.
Did you have much interaction with the managers, Mark, before the game? Was it just the captains bring the team?
No, they're just obviously the captains and the managers and come in with the team sheet, pleasantries, and they don't want to be in there. You just go out. I'll just go out there and enjoy it. I'm all about it, and keep smiling, and away they go, because the managers and the captains don't want to be in that dressing room with you. So it's no point going on saying, right, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, no, I'm not accepting this. And you go out there, first thing you do, you accept something. They say, hang on, you told us in the dressing room, you're not going to do that. So I used to say nothing. I used to say, listen, go out and enjoy it, lads, and let's keep smiling.
So no dramas before kick-off, for instance, that spring to mind. The day was pretty much going to plan.
No, nothing at all. Just after.
So how do you call the atmosphere leading the teams out? I mean, it must be a proud moment for you as a referee leading the sides out Wembley. It was a miserable day weather-wise. Yeah,
it was. It was. As I say, it was excited that I was, refereeing my first game at Wembley only after, it was my 3rd season on the national list. And I couldn't wait for it to get out there. And once you're out there, you soak up the atmosphere, because I was, all my Wembley appearances, my cup finals, I was told just soak up the atmosphere because it soon passes.
Yeah.
And you walk up that the slope, and you walk out and you hit that. The atmosphere was electrifying, and it was fantastic. Great memories.
So you're called into action immediately from kickoff, more or less, when Paul Dickoff's flick has appeared to be flicked away by Barry Ashby's arm. What are your immediate view of the incident at the time and looking back now?
On that situation, should have had VAR.
That's the biggest cop out. You can't. Yeah.
No, it was one of those. Was it deliberate? Was it not deliberate? You know, it was. I was umming and ahhing, and when you're umming and ahhing, I thought no, because normally when you give a penalty, it comes straight from the gut, and you give it. And I suppose looking back, I suppose if I'd given it, I wouldn't have been criticised.
Yeah. Did you possibly think, oh my God, it's going to be one of them days with that so early in the game? That
well,
it was literally within the first 30 seconds, I think, Mark, wasn't it?
The first 30 seconds, and because I remember, I think might have been the following season. I think I refereed Wolves and Sheffield Wednesday, and I had to send the Sheffield Wednesday keeper off after 13 seconds for a deliberate handball outside the box.
Wow.
Like Kevin Pressman, it was. Yeah. So I suppose relating back to that, you've got to be ready to make that big decision so early, and perhaps I just wasn't ready to make that big decision that early. I don't know. It's one of those. I could have given it. I could have easily. But looking back at it and looking at the instant, I could have easily given the penalty to City.
Well, it's forgotten anyway, obviously, because of what came later. So no one
absolutely,
from so it's pretty much end-to-end stuff. Chances for each side, really. No side really settles and takes control of the game. As a referee, Mark, how do you stay focused on your job in a fixture as so much stake for both sides, really? Because you could find yourself possibly getting involved and watching.
Yeah, it's one of those, because obviously it was raining heavy, wasn't it? I think it was raining the whole game, wasn't it?
A lot of players slipping as well.
Slip and slide, and you just got to be. You've got to choose your moments when you stamp your authority on the game. You've got to, with the challenges, you've got to have a high tolerance level when you've got weather conditions like that, and you've got to manage certain incidents. And there are incidents you can manage, challenges you can manage, and sometimes there's challenge you cannot manage. So, I remember sort of talking a lot to the players, telling them to stay on their feet, don't be silly, don't dive in because of the conditions. And to be fair, I think the players sort of adapted to my style and my way of refereeing, because I thought it was a great advert for that division, wasn't it? The football that was played and the 90 minutes or the 120 minutes that went on.
So which City players would have been in your ear and you'd want to say, shut up, but which ones could you have a bit of banter with?
Most. I mean, they're all. I think every player when they're not got things going their way, they're all in your ear. So I'm not going to pick out one individual, but there are the Edgehill brothers. They were sort of at you all the time, and who was the captain then?
Andy Morrison.
And Andy Morrison, yeah. So they were all at you.
Paul Dickoff was one, Mark.
Paul. I mean, Paul. That goes without saying. Paul Dickoff. He was always in my. Even after that, I think he went to. Where did he play after that? Leicester. He was Leicester, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh Jesus! I went. When I was refereeing Leicester City, I went, Paul, look what I've done for you at Wembley. You're still giving me crap. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. All right, Mark. He says, all right. But we're good Twitter buddies now as well. So, but no, it was. And obviously you've got Tony Pulis on the sideline as well. You can hear him shouting at you as well. Joe Royle wasn't so bad; he was okay. But you had Tony on the touchline shouting at you. So, but no, it was. You just had to referee what was in front of you, get the players' trust, which I think I had, and it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too much dissent. It was just cautions for silly challenges that I had to do to stamp my authority.
So the game continued pretty much in the same pattern until Gillingham strike twice through Carlos Harbour and Robert Taylor. Did you think it was game over for City at that stage? Because the comeback certainly didn't look on.
I've got to say, I thought I thought 2-0. What was it? 88, 89 minutes. I thought Gillingham have got this in the bag. I could only see one winner really, and I understand that. I saw the stand. The stand. The City fans weren't happy. I imagine the stands were emptying. They were running out of the grounds, getting on the tubes, weren't they? And
jumping the bridges.
Yeah. So I couldn't see any way back for City, to be perfectly honest with you.
So Kevin Horlock strikes very late into the game, and then these famous 5 minutes go up. I don't think Tony Pulis was too pleased with him. But could you sense, Mark, when the 5 minutes went up, the shift maybe City really did start to believe?
Yeah, I think once they got that goal, you know, I mean, I know Gillingham fans and blame me for the 5 minutes, but you know, the goal scoring celebrations when they went running off. I think was it Carl who scored the? Was it Carlos? Who scored?
Barber the first, Taylor the second.
That's it. Yeah, Simon got the first, and he's gone running over the towards the crowds. Yeah, that stopped. That you got to stop your watch. To say as well as the second goal, the two goals, you've got injuries, substitutions, cautions. So
Tony removed took most of the strikers off as well with the subs. Would have been more time.
Yeah, he did, and you could sense once they got that first goal, City, you could sense something was going to happen, and it did. I mean, it did, didn't it? I mean, I think it's one of the all-time greats, isn't it? That final, one of the all-time greats. That final was.
So, is there anything you can repeat that Tony Pulis might have said to you after the game or walking off?
Well, all I remember was Nicky Weaver going on his run, and I remember Gillingham and Tony Pulis chasing me down the tunnel, effing and jeffing at me. But listen, I mean, they often. I mean, obviously, I met up with him many times after that, and
passions are running high, of course.
When he was manager of Stoke in the Premier League, and we had some great chats about that day. He didn't blame me, not at all. It was quite funny because I never went back to Gillingham for about 7 or 8 years after that, and then when I did go back, it was a FA Cup tie. Was it an FA Cup tie? No, this was a league game. No, this was a league game. It was a league game, Burnley v Gillingham, and I remember coming out because you have to walk Gillingham. They park you right at the far end, and you've got to walk all the way past the main stand up, and then walk into your dressing room. And they were all lined up there giving me crap. You can imagine what they were all shouting. I mean, I come out to warm up about 45 minutes before kick-off. The ground was full. I was getting abuse. I was getting so much abuse. I said, "Come on, lads," because it was Burnley, the away fans. So we got up, ran around where Burnley was, and they were going, "Marklesy, Lancashire, Marklesy, Lancashire." And I was giving them a wave like that. They were going ballistic, the old Gillingham fans. Hence that Burnley won 3-0 that day. So yeah. But the next time we went back was for an FA Cup tie against Stoke City. I'm not sure who got the more abuse, me or Tony Pulis. It was unbelievable. Again, I got so much abuse coming out to warm up. And just before kick-off, I normally take my whistle out. My coin to the fourth official. And Tony Pulis, I was walking to the centre area. Tony Pulis came my way, put his arm round me, shook me out, and the fans went even more ballistic. So, but anyway, but no, the Gills fans don't forget. I still haven't forgiven me. And so, although any Gills fans listening, I apologise. Don't blame me, please.
So City are successful in the spot kicks and win the game. Did you speak directly with Joe Royle following the game? And does anything stick out in your memory that he may have said? Obviously they come and shook my hand and said it was a great game, well refereed. And then after that, really, you sort of don't you don't mix. They go off into their, they celebrate with the fans, and we just go down. We go down the tunnel and get changed and go back to a hotel. And do you pop your head in the dressing rooms after a game like that, Mark?
No, not there. No, not that day. Definitely not. City fans would have liked me, and Gillingham players would have most probably knocked me head off if they could have done so. But listen, it is what it is, and it was a great game and great memories. But obviously, back in the hotel where we all went for dinner, all the City fans were in there, weren't they?
I was going to say, folklore has it, Mark, that you ended up in the same hotel as a number of City fans celebrating the victory. I guess you may have been bought a pint or two that.
Oh, definitely. I mean, obviously the City, the Football League puts in that hotel. All the referees were there that weekend, and it so happened that I think there was a lot of City fans in that hotel. And we was having, we was trying to have a quiet drink in the bar with my coach and the other officials, and obviously City fans caught a glimpse of me, and the rest is history, as they say, you know.
So, Mark, you don't have to answer this by any means, but this is back in 1999. So what would have been the fee for a game, for a referee, for a game of that magnitude?
Do you know what? I couldn't remember. I think it might have been about £235, I think.
I was reading back in 1981 when Keith Hackett
on the Football League.
I was reading somewhere Keith Hackett was the referee for the 81 Cup final, City Spurs, and he was offered a medal or £35 as his fee.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was. I'm sure it might have been around about £235 for that for the game, football league game back in 99. I think round about it might have been a little bit more, but I think it was somewhere around that margin.
So how does Mark Halsey look back on that final and your first sort of Wembley game fixture like that now?
Yeah, listen, it was quite funny because obviously there was a little bit of an investigation, wasn't there, after it? Because obviously there've been reports that say I've been drinking with the City fans and dancing and singing and whatever. But the Premier League position got on hold, and then they done the investigation, and I was cleared. So,
yeah.
But it was my first ever final. It went so quick, final whistle, just took in everything. It was a thoroughly enjoyable day. I know, I upset Gillingham fans because of the 5 extra minutes, but
only by doing your job.
well, that's right. But some of them have blinkers on, don't they? And they can only just see one way. But for me and my officials, it was a great day. Remember going into having dinner into the hotel because Sky Sports people there, Chris Kamara and Alan Brazil were all there, just praising the officials, the way we refereed the game, and saying it was an absolutely fabulous game and it was highly enjoyable. So yeah, listen, it's looking back on it, it just seems like It's gone so quickly. It's like it only happened yesterday because I can remember, you always see those shirts, the black and the green stripes, and that City played in, and every time I see it, when I look back at it, and you look at me, how young I was on that day, and how wet I was, but it was, but not only that, I sort of from then I've made some really good friends. Obviously I moved up to the Greater Manchester area and lived in Bolton. Made some great friends with Bernard Halford and some of some City fans that live up that way, live in my area, and of course of Gary Owen, good friends with now. Kevin Parker, who's something to do with the supporters and the secretary of the supporters club, and so yeah, it's amazing what football does. How it brings people together, and it certainly brought me some good friends. You say in football, you can there's a saying going, there's a lot of acquaintances in football, but not a lot of true friends. But I found some true friends at City and some other clubs that I refereed as well. Everton Football Club, the kit manager Jimmy Mine, because you see so many kit men. Every time you referee at that ground, you see the kit manager, and you get talking. You become friends with them.
Yeah.
But that's not to say you don't go out there and do your job when you cross that white line.
Absolutely. Great memories. Mark, I've got a couple of teaser questions and a couple of true and false, just a bit of fun for you to answer. I appreciate it's over 20 years ago, so the memory might not be the best. But the first one, what colour jersey did City keeper Nicky Weaver use in the fixture?
Was it green or grey? I think it might have been grey.
No, it was orange.
Oh, orange, was it?
This time.
Of course. Yes. Yeah. You had that hidden, didn't you?
Yeah. So, what number was City skipper Andy Morrison wearing?
Bloody hell. You're having a laugh, aren't you?
Yeah.
Is that yellow? 6.
5.
6. Ah!
Right. Which two players replaced Andy Morrison and Michael Brown in the 61st minute for City?
Jesus Christ. How am I supposed to remember that?
Great memory the day was. You could remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah, I don't remember bad players, do I? Who was one of them? because I don't think did both Edgills play.
There's only one Edgill. There was two Brightwells you're thinking of.
Yeah, sorry. Bright was
Richard Edgill played. Yeah.
Yeah, Richard played. Did he go off? Who came on? They didn't go off.
Morrison and Brown went
Morrison
off.
went off. Morrison went off, didn't he?
Both in the 61st minute, replaced by
Morrison went off.
Yeah.
Who else went off?
They went off at the same time. Brown and Morrison to be replaced by Ian Bishop.
Oh, Bishop up front, yeah.
Tony Vaughan came on.
Oh, yeah. I don't. Yeah, I remember the skipper going off because I thought that was a surprise when he went off.
So the next question: who was the third and final City sub? I don't think I'll bother with that one, shall I?
I don't.
Gareth Taylor.
Hey, referees don't take notice of things like that, you know. Jesus, hey.
I know now. So,
if I'd known these questions, I'd have looked up it.
Which City player was the only one to miss his spot kick? Hit both posts.
It wasn't Paul.
It was.
It was Paul, was it?
Paul Dickoff.
Oh, I got that. Oh, right, okay. Paul Dickoff. I was thinking, was it him? And I thought, no, it wasn't him. I went far away.
True or false? Mark Halsey is a staunch QPR fan.
Absolutely true.
And as we covered already, Mark Halsey's final Premier League fixture was a Manchester City one versus Norwich.
True.
True or false? Mark Halsey has an MCFC 1999 Wembley Play-Off winners tattoo.
False.
True or false? Final one. VAR is good for football.
Oh, I'm going to say true, as long as it's implemented correctly.
Awful question, that one for you. Sorry, Mark.
Yeah.
So, what's Mark Halsey of 2023 up to?
Obviously, I'd like to. I mean, hopefully, I'd love to be involved in coaching and working with our top referees. Obviously, that's not happened because obviously relationship I have with the previous manager. Hopefully, the new manager, good friends with Howard. I'd love to help him and get involved because I think he's got a really tough job on his hands at the moment. Sure. I think he's the right appointment. You know, it's great that he's back in the fold and they've brought him over from the MLS. And what we've got to realise is that it's not an overnight fix. It's going to take time. It's going to take time for Howard to get things, you know, to when he gets full reign and he can start making changes. And that's not going to happen until I think next season. But I'd love to, you know, to be involved. I'd love to have a chat with Howard. But at the moment, you know, I'm sort of working with the Sun newspaper with my columns, as you know, and media. So I enjoy that. I do enjoy that. I enjoy talking about referees and talk. You know, obviously work on Hawksby and Jacobs, talk sport. I enjoy that. I mean, obviously when there's problems.
Keep him busy.
Keep him busy. Has been working on the World Cup with Betdak and Sun newspaper. That was great working with Betdak. Really enjoyed that. So yeah, it's hopefully onwards and upwards. Just wait for that phone to ring. As I say, anywhere in the world, I'll go anywhere to help and manage referees.
Great stuff. Mark, it's been an absolute pleasure to share your memories of such an iconic day in the history of Manchester City. Thanks for them 5 minutes, and I wish you and your family all the very best, mate. All the best. Thanks for talking to us, and hopefully City have a good weekend. You know, so it's always follow the blue teams, City, Everton, and QPR. Fantastic stuff. Cheers, Mark. Okay, take care. Bye-bye. Bye now.